Hi, Chris. The weather looks very nice out there. I'm a little bit jealous.
Well, I'm in Tennessee, so it's a little bit cold actually. We were down in Atlanta earlier and drove back to Tennessee today, so still pretty chilly out there.
I'll have to take your word for it. Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
pieces in, pieces out today. Is this team better than it was before free agency here?
Well, I mean, we feel like all five of the guys that we've got a plan for. I mean, certainly three of the five we know really well because we've had them on our football team before. We know what they bring, both on and off the field. You know, Kevin Francis. I mean, he's developed into one of the most solid special teamers in the league. Josiah St. John probably should have put him tackle years ago and just left him. But he's a guy that can play inside and outside and then swerve. He tremendous character. Guys love to be around him. He's fun to be around every day. He's one of those guys, like a Christian Jones or, they just bring a light to the room. And so he's a solid player. And that's before you even get to, two of the bigger guys in the picture. With the two big receivers that we got. So, I mean, these guys, we certainly have a good, solid thought of what they can bring.
It's interesting with Kyron Moore. He said the thing that tipped the scales in the balance in Edmonton's favor was the fact that he's going to get a chance to return again, like he did that rookie year back in 18. It seems like a lot of the special teamers want to go the other way and just focus on offense. He's kind of one of a kind that way.
Yeah, he wants the ball. He wants, he sat over there for, a couple of years and they got Duke and Shaq and, Schaefer Baker and those guys, so he sat and didn't get quite as many touches as what, he's a guy that wants the ball and he's not like he's selfish and he wants to, he's not one of those me guys. He just wants to try to help the football team win in any way possible.
Chris, were there much in the way of negotiations with Darrell Walker, or was he not in the picture coming back this year?
It was, it's time to go in a different direction, and that's just kind of what we, what we had decided long ago.
I appreciate that. Can I ask you about one other big name? Obviously, it doesn't belong to this player yet, but Vinny Testavarti's son. It just kind of wild just to see that name on the back of a green and gold jersey coming into training camp here in the spring.
Yeah, we had seen him at a workout and, he certainly threw the ball very well. It'll be interesting to see, exactly what he does bring to our football team.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
What do you like about Stephen Dunbar Jr.'s skill set?
Well, I mean, he's a guy, actually, he got last year when I went down and I saw D-Walt, I got to be introduced, to him. And so I kind of had met him before. And so we got to, I got to watching his game. And what I do like about him is his average yards per catch is, analytically, it's something that's, when you're averaging somewhere, upward of 14 plus, I mean, that's a big plus in our league. And so he's got a big catch radius. He can play in the slot. He can play on the line. He can get his own release. And so he's a guy that we can move around and match up.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Morley, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Chris, you talked a little bit about Josiah St. John and Francis and Moore. How important is it for you to get guys that you've got a history with those guys? They got a history with you. How important is that to mesh together a good signing?
Well, I mean, they know exactly what I expect, and they know what our staff expects out of them, and they've been in our meeting rooms, and not only that, but they know our terminology. They know what we're doing offensively, defensively, and then the special teams. I mean, so it'll be a quick turnaround for them. Knowing exactly what to do and allow them to play fast. I think that, and the other thing we looked at, this year is we want guys that want to bring the things that we need, off the field and on the field and just really good dudes. I mean, so, and all three of those guys are good guys.
You're pretty happy with day one, and maybe look ahead to day two and deeper into free agency and some of the work that you still feel you have to get done.
Well, I mean, there'll be some more guys, it'll be more street free agents and stuff like that. Probably won't be any more, of the free agent guys within our league. I mean, we spent most of most, if not all, the money that we're going to spend, and we'll have to make some adjustments in our roster to basically, make things, make the checks and balances work. And then in the meantime, we'll be out looking for guys that come in as league minimum players. So, I mean, that's just kind of the reality of the game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Campbell, go ahead.
Hey, Chris, quite the day, but you speak about with what you have in your receiving group with Lewis, with Dunbar, with Moore. You throw in Manny into the mix. You throw in your Canadians. You throw, Kevin Brown in the backfield, and just looking at your quarterbacks, and I'll throw Taylor at the top of the list, but it could be for anyone that it doesn't have to be on them, and it never should be on them anyway. But you look at the different type of skill sets you have in your offense. That this Taylor now just basically have to become a point guard and just distribute the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the way around. I mean, any good offense, you got to be able to run the football. So, I mean, I think KB, he, as long as we can keep him healthy and keep him on the ground, and he's not trying to jump over top of people, and we got to run the football first, and then off of the run game, we've got to protect our quarterback in the pass game, and then we've got the good fortune now to be able to spread the ball around and have guys that that can do some things through the air, and a good set of receivers that we can that we have a chance to throw the football to.
Could you be, and I came in late here, so my apologies if this has been asked already, but how did Geno Lewis kind of come on your radar, and when did you kind of have the inkling that, yes, this is the guy I got to pursue?
Well, I mean, we had to defend him this past year, and, we had to double team him a bunch in order to keep him off the board, I mean, so he's a guy that the catch down there in the end zone on us. I mean, he's closely guarded, but he can make contested catches, and he can high point the football. And so even when he is covered and he's got a guy on him, he's got the ability to still make football plays. And that's kind of, what we're going to need out of that group.
And he seems to bring the attitude that you like, that, he said, I'm going to bet on myself, but I'm going to do whatever I need to do to help the team win. Yeah,
there's no doubt. I mean, he and I had a lot of conversations as soon as the window opened. I actually called him. I was walking in church, and he and I spoke for about 15, 20 minutes, and we talked about exactly what we need him to bring to our football team. And the things that we're going to need. We've still got a lot of young players, and we need some direction. And so we went out, and that's who we're trying to bring in, is some guys with some a little bit of game behind their name.
And final one for me, Kyron Moore. We know what he can do on offense. We know what he can do in special teams in the return game. Where do you see him fitting? Because I know you don't like to overextend guys. But where do you see Kyron Moore fitting as far as, offense versus special teams?
Well, Swerve's going to be in the slot for sure. And then he'll be our punt returner, and then probably our off kick returner. And that's kind of my thoughts going in. He's going to have those extra, 6 to 7 to 9 touches a game. And then certainly it still allows him, because he's a guy that's in tremendous shape. He's a smaller guy, but he's a very tough guy. He's a bubble player. He's a guy to, throw the bubble and the hit screens too. And that's not to say he can't sit down in zone and then run after catch, So, I mean, he brings a lot of options to our offense and our special team.
All right. Appreciate this, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, man. Thank you.